Welcome back, guys, and today we have some more Battlefield 1 footage for you, and I'm sure some of you are wondering what's happened to our Overwatch content. Well, me and Aaron have been sinking so much time into Battlefield 1 right now, we're finding it hard to actually fit any Overwatch in. We're not completely leaving it by the wayside, we're just going to focus on Battlefield 1, and as new characters and maps are added to Overwatch, we're then going to go back to it. But for now, Battlefield 1 will be our main focus. So in today's footage I am playing Oil of Empires Operation, which is the operation which focuses on Foul Fortress, Suez and Sinai Desert. Today's footage is solely on Suez though. Now if I'm being completely honest, I wasn't entirely convinced of Operations when I first played it. My first experience of it was on Monte Grappa, which, I'll be honest, isn't one of my favourite maps, and it was before DICE had introduced the update where they added more tickets to the attacking team. So my first game of it was pretty horrendous, we got absolutely destroyed. It put me off it. I went straight back to Conquest and have mostly played that since. But I thought I'd come back to Operations and give it another go now that there's been a few changes, and I have to say I'm really enjoying it. It's a fantastic game mode, a lot of carnage, and for those of you that don't know, it's a little bit like Rush mixed with Conquest. So the attacking team have 2, sometimes 3 objectives to capture. The objectives work the same way that they do in Conquest, only once you cap the objectives, you then move on to another 2 or 3 objectives to capture, which pushes you further up the map like it does in Rush. So the game mode is an amalgamation of Conquest and Rush, but it really does work. Now I've chose to highlight Suez in the footage today, and that's mainly because the map's been a little bit controversial. Since the game launched, many people have complained that the map is a little bit unfair. Now when playing Conquest I can completely agree. Usually one team absolutely whitewashes the other and it's really not all that fun to play. Since the update they have added 2 more capture points, which is in theory supposed to spread the forces thinner, therefore resulting in less sort of being pushed back, therefore giving one team more chance to break through the enemy lines. In my personal opinion, it doesn't really work. Yes, the games in Conquest tend to be a little less one-sided now, however, you do seem to always see one team slowly streak ahead. I'll be curious to see what DICE does with that, but in Operations it's a completely different kettle of fish. The attacking team have to get the first 2 objectives over a quite open space, which makes some great sniping for both sides, and the next 2 objectives mixes it up a little bit by adding in some trenches for some close combat. After that you then move on into the little village where it's mostly close combat, and then finally you have the last 2 points I think it is, which is once again a mixture of sniping and close combat. For this video I'm playing the assault class using the Hellriegel. I did do a little bit of sniping at the beginning of the game, but I am not as proficient as Aaron, so I'm probably going to leave the sniping to him. But when it comes to close combat, this weapon is the one you want to be using. Now in this game it's classed as an SMG, but in my eyes it's quite similar to an LMG. It has a clip size of 60 bullets, which is more than enough to tear down 5-6 enemies at a time, which you'll actually see me do once or twice in this video. Being an SMG, it doesn't really have all that much range, so you do have to get in close, or if they are at long range, try and burst fire your shots a little bit. However, when trying to do that, it can be a little bit crazy to control. That being said, I would say it's one of the best weapons the assault class can use. Obviously it's all situational because the shotgun can also come in handy on maps like Argon Forest, which I'm sure many of you have been on the receiving end of. For the first half of the video we're defending on Suez, and the second half we are attacking. So you'll see how this weapon comes in handy whether you're attacking or defending. If you can get a flank on the enemy, it's really handy because you can take out multiple enemies without having to reload, and you'll see me do that a few times as well. So another perk of playing as the assault class is if you use the anti-tank grenades, you equip yourself with 3 grenades, which are obviously really handy against vehicles, but also just as good against infantry. I'm also using the anti-tank rockets, which much like the grenades are good on vehicles but also just as good on infantry, which I demonstrate with a little bit of a tasty double kill. And this is that pistol that I spoke briefly about in the last video. You get to see it in a little bit more action here, just before I start playing the waiting game on my mate who's about to spawn in and give me some ammo, so shout out to Ben for that. I feel a little bit bad for this guy because my accuracy obviously wasn't on point at this moment, so it cost him his life. Sorry dude. I do then spot the tank, but having not resupplied for that long, know that I haven't got what I need to destroy it. So a little bit of a tactical retreat I think is in order. Then I get to show you how useful the Hell Regal is for tearing through more than one enemy at a time on these 3 snipers who are oblivious to the fact that I've flanked around behind them. Given the amount of hours that I've played Battlefield 1 so far, it's surprising to know that I've actually not had my own tank before. This is my first time using the light tank since the game has been released, and you'll see they're ever so handy for keeping the enemy busy, letting your forces creep up, while you take most of the focus. A few times you'll probably be wondering why I'm not shooting at anyone, and because it's my first time in the tank, I kept forgetting that you only get 4 or 5 shells before you have to slowly wait for it to recharge, so that's why there's shots that I should be taking, but I'm not taking. As you can see, I've hardly mastered the tanks, but I find them really enjoyable. It's just a shame that I don't get as much time in them as I'd like. The light tank is pretty handy for moments like this, however I may have got myself in over my head a little bit by going straight into the middle of the point. It probably wasn't one of my wisest ideas to bring the tank up here. The sand dunes make it a little bit difficult to hit people, especially if they're running around in the trench. You have to pretty much get the tank in there to get any kills, which didn't work out so well for me. As you can see, I'm trying to hit them as they're scurrying around me and they're hiding behind walls, getting in the trench. It's a little bit of a nightmare if I'm honest. I wasn't trying to kill the horse, it just happened to be caught in the crossfire. But I'm not going to lie, I did take a little bit of joy in killing it because those things are so annoying in this game. Pesky artillery truck managed to take me out in my little tank, but now I'm wanting revenge, so you better watch out. After getting my revenge on the artillery truck, I decided to take matters into my own hand by performing a sneaky little flank manoeuvre, and as you can see, I managed to take quite a few enemies by surprise, and I really get to show off what you can do with the Hell Regal and that massive clip size. So that'll be it for today's video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please leave a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.